Colombia is a beautiful country full of negative perceptions. Let me ask you a question. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you first hear of its name? Could it be violence or drugs or perhaps poverty? Well, this isn't uncommon. This is actually opinions that a lot of people have without even going to the country. I had the pleasure of living in Colombia for about 12 years, and what I have encountered has been the complete opposite of what these individuals perceive. Colombia is located in South America, and it's full of diversity. It also has amazing geographical locations. According to an article titled Imperial Power, National Pride, and the Place of Nature in U.S. Colombian Relations, Colombia has ranked number 2 in the entire world for its biodiversity. It also has about 1,826 different exotic species of birds. Although I can stand here and try to persuade you about all the wonders that this country has, I will only be discussing 2. Number 1, I will be talking about its food, and number 2, I will be discussing its folkloric music. So I will start with this. The native food. Colombia was actually colonized back in the 1500s by Spanish explorers. Because of this, it's had a lot of its influence, a lot of their food has come from European influence. One of the things that Europeans actually brought here was African slaves. As a result, a lot of their culture was integrated into our culture. One of the biggest foods that they brought was okra, which has been in a lot of our main soups that are very authentic in the country. Europeans themselves also brought some important ingredients like wheat, rice, beans, oregano, and cinnamon. One of the biggest and most famous dishes in Colombia is called bandeja paisa, which has rice and beans, among other things. Natives also were introduced to cattle, which is also a major ingredient and component to a lot of its authentic dishes. Now, I'm also going to discuss the differences and the similarities of Colombian and American food. Number 1, I'll start with breakfast. Breakfast is definitely the most important meal of the day for Colombia. It is very heavy, very hearty, and so what happens is that the food from the night before gets incorporated into breakfast the next morning. So there's a lot of meat, there's a lot of grain, and just pretty much anything that you can find from the night before into that breakfast, and it's called calentado. Now, on the other hand, American breakfast is very on the go. So you will have a little bit of cereal or any microwavable dishes or anything that you could do that's on the go. Obviously, this is one of the greatest nations in the world, and there's a lot to do, so we kind of have to be more on the go. Now, something that they both incorporate and that they both have in common is chicken. In Colombia, we have a lot of dishes that are with stew chicken or fried chicken, and I could say the same thing for America. They do have different flavors, but they both incorporate very similar dishes with chicken. Now, I'm going to be discussing the folkloric music. One of the biggest and most important genre in Colombia is called cumbia. And cumbia was actually developed by the African population along the coast of Colombia. What this genre interprets, or where it came from or originated, was as a means to court. So these people, if they were interested in each other, they would do this as a means of a ritual and that's where cumbia came about. If you think of cumbia, if you haven't before, you would see that there's long dresses or long skirts, very colorful. Same thing with the men. The men had they have hats, and it's just a very colorful dance. Two people that really influenced the folkloric music in Colombia and cumbia are Toto la Mamposina and Francisco Sumanque. Both are influential interpreters of the Caribbean and Afro-Colombian music. Toto la Mamposina, again, she is a cumbia songwriter and folkloric singer. She has won many awards. One of the awards that she won in 2013 is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, to talk a little bit more about Francisco, is also the same thing. He was very famous for his music, and he actually gained recognition throughout Latin America with a song called Colombia Libre. So this actually made Colombia's music a bit more popular. Now, both of these individuals have birthdays in the 1940s and also are come from backgrounds of musically inclined families. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed and learned a little bit more about this country, and that all the negative opinions and perceptions can leave your mind and you can start embracing this country for what it truly is. And I will end this speech with a quote from Anthony Bourdain, and it comes from an article called 5 Things That Surprised Me Most About Colombia. And he says, "It's ludicrous that this place exists and everybody does not want to live there."